Hello, this is Trina, aka Mineral Mama. So we're going to talk today about, I just want to share some information with y'all about vitamin C, about nosebleeds, and about bleeding gums. And so a lot of times, we are just so trusting and believing in the internet and everything that we research on the internet. And at some point, y'all, you're gonna have to look into your soul, into your DNA. You're gonna have to do some discernment, and look for the answers, because artificial intelligence don't always have the answer. And I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. And so when it comes to nosebleeds, so if you look online right now, right? And so let's say this information, let's say I don't have nosebleeds, or you might say my children don't have nosebleeds, or your children or grandchildren or somebody you know might. And so that's why it's important to share the information. So that's all I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to share information that could help somebody. I know a lot of times people will read my book and they will say, I love your book was amazing. And that's great, but I didn't write the book for just entertainment. The book is written to change the world, to change how we see the world, to change how we view the world, and to connect what's happening in the world to our health, so that we can live longer, so that our children could be more intelligent, and so that we all can have longevity. So this information might not be for you, but pass the information along to somebody that you know or don't know that's struggling. So anyway, when it comes to nosebleeds, and I'm gonna share with you all, when I say I'm a genius at research, I'm gonna share with you how I understand this information. And so then as you do research, you won't just lean to artificial intelligence, okay? So anyway, if you look online right now, artificial intelligence, or go to your doctor, it don't matter. And you're like, hey, my baby or somebody I know, got a nosebleed. And they're going to say, oh, the nosebleed came from being extra dry, or they may say, some people run and get a cloth, or some people run and get keys, or some people get something cold, or they'll say get a humidifier, right? These are all the things they'll tell you in prevention and how to address it once it happened. But I'm going to show you how I figured out how to address nosebleeds. So, and please pass the video on, y'all. Don't be like the FDA, get information and they not passing it on to y'all, right? We're not going to be like the FDA. So anyway, this was in the 1800s, and there were about a million sailors, and they died of something they call scurvy back in the day, okay? And so what scurvy is, it said that these sailors in Great Britain, that they were hemorrhaging from their gums, and their teeth fell out, okay? They're bleeding from the gums, that they were bleeding from their nose profusely. And then they began to bleed from their organs, right? And that these men died while they were on a ship. And so they identified it as scurvy. And over the course of like 100 years, y'all, over 1 million men died of what they call scurvy. Now, you can glean a lot from this story, because that's what medical calls it, okay? They call it scurvy. But what if you find out that the whole time that over 1 million men died from a vitamin C deficiency? And you're like, what? All them men died from a vitamin C deficiency? Over 1 million men? And they said it took about 50 years for their government to figure it out, and another 50 years for their government to disclose, what happened, what scurvy was. So if you went to a doctor and you were bleeding from your nose and bleeding from your gums, and they say you had scurvy, you would be thinking, oh my God, I got scurvy, I'm going to die. But then what if I told you the power of knowing, of understanding nature? So what if I told you, or your doctor said, hey, you just have a vitamin C deficiency? You would think, oh, okay, I'll just get some lemon, some lime, some cayenne pepper, take some vitamin C, and I'm good, okay? Yep, you would be good. But that's how I figured how everything works around here. Everything ends up being a disease. And what I realized is that, y'all, there is no such thing as a disease. Everything is a deficiency. Just because a million people couldn't identify what the deficiency was, don't mean that it didn't exist. So moms, I'm always looking to empower moms because we got these babies. We got these children and other people around us. Friends, family, older people that we got to take care of. So here's my point. If vitamin C, lemon, lime, if that's all they needed, then that means that's all we need. So the next time somebody has a nosebleed, right? Or you bleeding from the gums and you dental flossing and all that, then take some more vitamin C, eat some more oranges, right? Your children having a nosebleed, and every time you turn around, you still thinking because it's dry or because they picked their nose. Now you know their vitamin C is low. So what was happening with these sailors? So what I'm thinking is, when the sailors were vitamin C deficient, what's happening is that what we might call collagen, or the seam, like on your clothes, you got that seam, okay? So you got that same kind of seam around your gums that holds the teeth in place, right? You got the same kind of seam in the nose and in the organs. And just imagine if just a little bit of it unravels, just a little bit, right? It's enough for the blood to seep out. So you want to keep that seam, right? Whatever we're going to call it. You want to keep that seam, right? That collagen, whatever that is holding the organs in place. It's keeping the blood in. The vitamin C is what's holding it and keeping it in place, right? So the next time you know somebody that has a nosebleed, y'all, that you think, oh, okay, that seam came loose. That collagen came loose. It needs to be tightened back up. So run for the keys or something cold if you need to. But the goal is to prevent it. My children used to have nosebleeds. It happens sometimes. It hasn't happened in over a year. So no matter how hot it is or no matter how hot it gets, I make sure that that they eat enough tangerines or oranges or get vitamin C. So I just wanted to share that information with you all because somebody needs it. If it's not you, pass the video forward, right? And like the video, subscribe. I'm just doing what I can to help us all out. But don't get in a situation where you're dependent on AI, because AI, artificial intelligence, they're not going to give you the answers. And medical, whether they know it or not, I don't know if they know this stuff and not saying, but don't assume that they know everything either, because they don't know everything, okay? So when you do your research, like I did, glean from the information that you read, because that's what I did. Right? When I listened to that story, when I read that story, I'm like, oh my God, so vitamin C is why they were bleeding from their nose. So that means vitamin C can correct the problem too. Y'all take care. This is Mineral Mama. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.